Hello everybody, I am back with another video after God knows how long. I've been busy with college work because I'm coming towards the end of the year now and I've got shit tons of work to do, so I have been away doing that, which is why I have not been coming with a video lately, but I am back and I have decided bravely to start a new series. Well, I say a new series. I've never started a series on YouTube before because I'm new. And I've decided that I would share my knowledge in special effects that I've learned over this past year and share my knowledge to you guys, because why not? Some of you might out there might want to know how to do this stuff, and I'm here to help. So this series will be a zombie bite tutorial video like set, because I learnt multiple ways of how to make them. So today I will be doing a Collodion bite, which is like this, I'll talk through it later. And each video I'll talk through it, what each one does, and if there's cheaper alternatives. And then there will be a cine wax or a special effects wax, whatever you want to call it. There will also be a latex and a gelatin, which is personally my favourite, which is why I saved it for last. So today we are doing a Collodion zombie bite. Now this is Collodion. This is the Collodion one because that's what mostly my kit got. Collodion is, it's almost like nail polish. It smells like nail polish and looks like nail polish. But you have to stretch your skin while applying it because it crunches the skin up and makes it look dented. And you can also use it for scars. I like to use it for scars because it makes it look really realistic. Some of you may prefer other ways and think other different ways look better than others, and I do too. But I wanted to give you all some variety because that's always needed. Anyway, right, let's get down to it. So first I'm going to apply some of the Pro Shield Barrier Foam by Collodion. This will help prevent my skin from staining when I'm putting on makeup, because I don't exactly want to have blood stains on my face because that's not fun. And it's not exactly great, but you know what, whatever. That's what comes with special effects, blood. So you don't want a lot because it expands a lot. And with this I'll also show you how to paint the bite and everything. So I just need to clean the area just to make sure. I'm going to do a cheap bite, but you can do it wherever you want. You just want to make sure you clean the area to make sure there aren't anything that's going to prevent the Collodion or product from sticking. So get another bit there just to make sure. Right, there we go, there's that done. Right, next, well, it's simple as you can either, if you want practice with the paints, paint on the bite outline on first and then put the Collodion on top and then do it, or you can put the Collodion on and then paint. I like to do the painting and then the Collodion because it helps me set a base mark of where I'm going to put the Collodion because it dries clear so you can see. So I'm using currently the Supercolour Collodion grease paints. These will just help, ooh, making all sorts of sounds here, set out the outline, and these won't stain too much either. So I'm just going in with the red and I'm just going to make an outline of the bite marks. in a curve. You want to make sure it's curved, otherwise you aren't going to have it look like a bite. It's going to look weird and not realistic. Now this isn't got to be perfect because you're going to colour over it and put collodion on top, so it doesn't have to be absolute perfection. It's just an outline. I say this as I'm focusing intently on this. Like that, and because grease paints are quite good because you can wipe it off, it's grease, so it doesn't stick straight away, it's always a bit wet right then. Then once you've done that and you've got the outline, you will want to get the collodion. Now this dries out quite quickly, so you don't have to wait a while for it to dry. So stretch out the skin. You just want to paint it on like that. Now you might want to do like 4 or 5 layers on there. It really depends. I usually do around 4 or 5 layers because then it builds up and it really looks like a dent. But how many of the layers you want to do and how many layers you feel is enough for you. And you just keep layering it on. You don't have to stretch out your skin quite a lot. Maybe just a little bit until you got the first layer on, and then slowly build that, because then that will help. And as you can see, it's starting to look a bit dented. So I've done about 6 or 7 layers of this collodion now, and you can start to see the dents. So now I'm going to go in with colour. So again, with the crayon palette, I am going to stipple with a ripped up sponge. It's quite dirty, but I've used it before. And I'm going to sort of mix in these darker brown and red tones at the bottom to make an irritated kind of look. Let me move back a bit. To make my skin look like it's been bitten. Now you can leave it at the the red stage and add some blood and to show that it's like a fresh bite, but I'm going to make it an old, slowly infected bite. So there's going to be veins creeping their way out of this bite, just so you can see how to paint the veins as well, to give you a taste of everything. Of course, it's up to your imagination. My idea of a full zombie would be a lot more rotting flesh, bruises, and you can add bruises. I will add some bruises later on around this. In a minute. I just want to get the redness right around the bite. And once you've got the redness to where you like it, then you can go on to the bruises. So the way I like to do the bruises is getting a big fluffy brush. This is a domed eyeshadow brush, but I'm just going to use it for bruises, and pick up a bit of the... Ooh, just shot my finger in there. Pick up some of the blue. And mix in some of the yellows and greens in there as well, because you want to make sure the bruise looks aged. If you guys want, let me know in the comments. If you want me to do a stages of bruising process, I will more than happily show you how to do the stages of bruising with either alcohol or grease paints, whichever one you want, or both. I do not mind. So you can see I'm starting to get a bit of blue there. And I'll use the same brush and just pick up a bit of yellow and plop that on top, just to add a bit of illness. And maybe a tad bit of green. If you want, you can pick up all three colours and mix them like this to make it look extra bruised. And you can just put the bruises wherever you want. I like to just put them either side around the bite, just to make it look a bit more irritated and like the, you know, you've actually just been wounded and you haven't just got a fake bite on your face. So there's the bruising there. And now we'll go into the detail parts. So you want to get a smaller brush. I'll probably use something like this. This is a liner brush, but you know, you can use whatever. And I'll pick up some darker browns and a dark deep red and just sort of brush them into the bites just to create even more depth. And I'll also get some red and brush that along the tops just to connect all of the areas to make it look even more irritated. Just like this. Now this isn't my favourite way to do bites because I don't feel like they look particularly as realistic as some of the other methods I'm going to teach you. Mainly just because I don't think this gives the same depth as like say gelatin or wax would give, because it's not built up, it's creating divots in your skin. I do feel Collodion would be better suited to making scars with, but you know, whatever you prefer, it's all up to you. And I'm just adding a dark, like a really dark maroon burgundy into the cut to sort of add more depth into the wound and to make it look like it's actually, and you can pull the colour down into the centre of the wound just to, and then blend it out just to add a bit more colour into the centre of the wound to make it look like you've been mauled to death by a zombie. Because as movies have depicted, they aren't the calmest of creatures. They are quite aggressive. Now when I did my zombie look for college, because I had to do a college creepers zombie, where I had to like make 3D, well no 4D, because I would have had to have been in college for it because of lockdown. I had to film it all at home in my garden, so I had to buy some blood capsules and spit blood out at a camera. But I had to research loads of movies, and I saw how different artists like to show a infected bite. Quite a few people showed it as healed and grey. I quite like that. I just feel like if you're gonna make something that's supposed to scare people, a good old gory bloody bite mark will most likely scare the living crap out of people. Because I used to walk downstairs when my brother was on calls and I'd look at my face and I'm gonna be like, ugh. That's right, yeah, exactly. Zombie. So As you can see, there is a bit more definition in there now. I'll go in with a bit of, only a tiny bit of black. You never want to go too much with black because it could ruin it. Just to darken up inside the actual bite dents, just so it adds more, you know, depth, like I keep saying. But it's what it's all about. And see, with special effects, you need to make sure everything you're creating is atomically correct. Otherwise, that's why in movies, if you look at something, oh, that doesn't quite look right, or oh, that cut doesn't look quite right. It looks good, but it doesn't look right. It's because it's most likely it was anatomically incorrect, and they didn't study their bone structure and muscle structure properly. Because you've really got to think about it and how your flesh would look. Now this is just how I've been taught to do it. I'm not keen, again, because it doesn't really look real, but whatever floats your boat. You can never, you know, whatever floats your boat. Now I am also using the Ultimate FX palette. This is an alcohol based, ooh, just broken it, ooh. An alcohol based palette, which I quite like to use because you can water down the colours and decide how dark or neutral you want your colours to be, whereas with a grease palette you're stuck with that colour and you can't water it down because of course it's grease, so you've just got to tap it, which you can blend out easily. But I've got some, again, Collodion IPA. This is 90% alcohol, and you can only use 90% alcohol with your alcohol paints, as they are, oh, just added a bit too much there, oh well, oh well. And you just want to pour a little bit into each colour, and then you can mix them out onto here. And for the veins, you're going to want some blues, some reds. I use a little bit of green in the blue just to make it a little bit more toned down. I'd say, oh, I'm also using the Collodion brush here, a really thin one. I'd also say be careful with the brushes, because if you hold them up, the alcohol will go up and it won't be good because it will melt the glue, as I have learned from some brushes I have. It will melt the glue and you will lose some brush hairs, which is not good and not wanted. So what you want to do when you get that, you think about where you want to place your veins. So I'm going to do some down here. And, oh, that's a bit thick, this brush actually. Let me find another one. So I've just got another brush. This is the Collodion Tools 706. I think this will just be a little bit better because it's a little bit thinner. So you want to really just think about how veins flow. They aren't too rigid, so just let your hand loosely drag over your skin. You can lift the brush up and skip things, you know, and lift it up to make it look more realistic and make some parts lighter than others. That will help and make it look more realistic. And you just want to like make sure they're thin. Maybe put some over the lips. Like this. I don't know whether you can see it, but there will be pictures as always, and then I'll add some up here as well. Just lightly, like, don't even like, just let your hand move freely, move however it wants. And make like veins fork off other veins, and because then if you fork them off, they will look more real. Of course, if you look at like your wrist veins, they will fork off. So, and then you just want to get some red. Just go over the blue with the red, but not exactly, just to layer it. And again, just layer it over the top. I feel like the red just adds a bit more of a zombie feel to the makeup. And to add more detail. And then maybe just some more blue going down from another area of the wing, and just pat it. And of course, no special effects makeup will be finished without some blood. So I've just got a tube of fake blood here. It doesn't have to be anything special. And what I like to do is usually use the end of a brush, or an old brush actually. Let me get an old brush out. Yeah, I'll just use this old like angled brush, and oh, there's a bubble there. And I just like squeeze it out of the tube, get a bit up on my brush, not too much, and then I just dab it on to the bite sections. A bit more blood actually. Just to add some gore. And what I like to do is get a stipple sponge and stipple the blood round to make it look more irritated and make the blood look like it's been spread around. Just like that. And then of course I'll add more blood on to make it look more realistic. Maybe just stipple it a bit more. Just like that. And there we have it. My Collodion lip mark. Another tip is to remove the Collodion, you can either use oil or a Collodion remover. I don't have a Collodion remover, so I prefer to use an oil because then that helps lift off the Collodion, so you don't pull out your hairs. Anyway, I hope that was helpful and I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys soon with another video.